Alright, so today I would like to talk about Jamaica and review my trip. I just finished my trip to Jamaica and I'm right now in Trinidad and Tobago. And I think the scenery is very similar. I got a very similar feeling here in Trinidad and Tobago. This is actually Tobago as Jamaica. Like you see beautiful beaches. I didn't want to go too close to the beach because the waves are a bit noisy. So I went a little bit off the beach, and in fact it's even a little bit more beautiful here in Trinidad and Tobago than Jamaica. And the countries are both in the Caribbean, so they are similar, but they are not the same. No? I mean, they have similar customs. They both celebrate Carnival, although the Trinidad Carnival is a bit more famous than the Jamaican one. And Jamaica has more Rastafaris, Bob Marley, and yeah, other things which you don't have here in Trinidad. Well, Trinidad have Nicki Minaj, but I will make a video about Trinidad when I want to finish this trip, since I haven't seen that much here. So I just finished my trip to Jamaica. I spent about a little bit less than 3 weeks, and I started my trip in Kingston. I flew in from Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and then I went from Kingston to Port Antonio, from Port Antonio to Ocho Rios, and then back to Kingston. This is not too much to see within 3 weeks, but it was enough. It was enough. I missed some places like Montego Bay or Negril, but they're also just famous for the beaches, so I think I got most important the culture of Jamaica. And you see the culture, it's very different in all these 3 cities. Kingston, where I spent the most of the time, is a very developed city. And Jamaicans like to say "Yeah man" when they want to greet you. And in Kingston, nobody says this, like as some people, but very few. And if you go to Port Antonio or Ocho Rios, everybody says this. Everybody says like, "How are you?" It's very different. Also, you know, Jamaica is very famous for the ganja, the cannabis. And in Kingston, it's not that, there are not that many people who smoke. There's still a few people, but if you go to Port Antonio or Ocho Rios, there are more people smoking on the streets. It's quite different to see the capital from the rest of the country. Also, the money in Jamaica is very interesting because money kind of represents the history and the culture of the country. And in Jamaica, you see famous slaves on the bills because Jamaica was a slavery country like most of the Caribbean. So you see famous slaves, and you also see Europeans who helped to abolish the slavery. So this kind of represents the culture. Also bills, when you talk to a taxi driver or somewhere, you don't like 100 Jamaican dollar is about 80 US cents. But you would not say how much you pay for a taxi, 200 Jamaican dollar, no. You would say 2 bills. So they ask, oh, I drive you for 5 bills. So 500 Jamaican dollar, 4 US dollars, something like this. So the way they talk is a little bit interesting. The language is called Patois. So I heard they used Patois, so the Europeans could not understand the Jamaicans back at the time. So it was a way to communicate between them. Although they're having some English words, it's quite difficult to understand, especially when they're speaking fast. For example, "me no business," they're saying, it's not like "me no business," no, it means "I don't care." Who would know that? So, but it's not too difficult to learn. The grammar, it's quite simple. It's just the vocabulary you have to pay attention to. And I also like the pronunciation because it reminds me of German language. Since German has the vowels A, E, I, O, U, and in English you say A, E, I, O, U, the German way, it's much more similar to Jamaican. For example, black Jamaicans would say black. The black man is going on the street, which is very similar to German pronunciation actually. So if you have like extremely thick German accent, it will sound similar to Jamaican. So also "Yeah man." "Yeah man" sounds like German. It's like "yes man," but in Jamaican "Yeah man" it's more like "how are you?" It has nothing to do with the German language, but I really enjoyed that fact. Also, after I went to Port Antonio, I realized that Portland, which is the parish, they call it the province parish, it's quite rainy. It rained every day, and it rained heavily every day, and a lot. It was the best nature in entire Jamaica what I've seen. but it is also the rainiest part. Like in Kingston and Ocho Rios, it barely rained, but in Portland it rained a lot. But Portland had the most beautiful beaches. They also have beautiful waterfalls, which I haven't seen because I've been to the Blue Lagoon, which is not easily accessible until you get a boat or you swim, but then you leave your stuff on the side, which is also not good for thieves, because Jamaica has a bad reputation. Before I traveled to Jamaica, I checked, of course, the internet about travel advice, and you read horrible stories. It's the 5th highest murder rate in the world, which really scares you. But in fact, tourism is not that affected. There are not many tourists killed, because they're having like some gangs, drug and other stuff. So I'm meeting some Jamaican people, and they say, oh, somebody got killed just next door of them, and they have shootings every night in Kingston, in certain districts, like in Augusttown is very dangerous, and Trenchtown. So you just stay away of those places, and you just don't go out at night much alone. You better take taxis than walking on the street. Although I walked on the streets at night as well in my district, because my Airbnb host said it's safe. So I did so, and it was safe, in fact. But I got a lot of people reminding me, don't use the cell phone in public, it's dangerous, or just be careful. And I was also like in a bad district, and there was like a black guy coming to me and say, oh, you guy, you don't have no fear walking around here. It makes impressions dangerous. You shouldn't say this to me, it's kind of scares tourists. Or in fact, it wasn't that dangerous. Nothing happened, nothing got stolen. I felt quite safe. So you really have to take the travel advice with a pinch of salt. It's not that dangerous. But of course, be careful, especially in Kingston and Montego Bay, where I haven't been to, because Montego Bay have this so-called state of emergency because there's so much crime. But in fact, I never heard a gunshot. I never saw any crime. I saw more crime in the US. When I was living in San Francisco, there was like a lot of police and stuff. And in Jamaica, you don't see that much police. So, yeah, Portland is wonderful, beautiful for nature, nice beaches. Winifred Beach is the best beach in Jamaica I have seen. Unfortunately, I must say, many tourist attractions like beaches and waterfalls are not free. And they're not just not free, they're really expensive. For example, Frenchman Cove is another beach. You pay $10 to get in there. There are waterfalls, the dance falls. You pay $25 to go there. Or the Bob Marley Museum. It's also $25. It's way too expensive for a museum. So unfortunately, I had to skip a lot of attractions. But I found my way, and I didn't get bored, even though I only saw half the island. I just enjoyed being downtown, observing the people, trying the food. Jerk chicken, probably is one of the most famous Jamaican food. Kalaloo, some kind of cabbage, also delicious because of the spices. Ackee with saltfish, the national dish, super delicious. I really love ackee and saltfish because I love salty food. I just didn't like the boiled banana. It's so dry, and the boiled dumplings. There's nothing inside. It's like a dough boiled. This one didn't taste good, but the ackee itself, I really like it. Vegetables with salty fish. And I just love the fact that fish in Jamaica is so cheap because I love fish. And you get a can, 425 gram of mackerel for only 220 Jamaican dollar, which is not even $2 US. $1.60 US. And it's one of the cheapest mackerel in the world. I love mackerel, so I was eating mackerel every single day when I was in Jamaica, even though I had a kitchen most of the time. So yeah, Port Anthony was very chill, a village. But unfortunately, there's not much to do. There's nature, but no other activities. Then you have Ocho Rios. Ocho Rios, it's quite safe town. They're having cruise ships, so it's quite clean, safe. Lots of shops. Walk around the beach, which is nice. So lots of those stuff you can do in Ocho Rios. I actually tried to get a boat off Jamaica, which didn't work. So I asked the travel agency, could I book a partial cruise ship? And then we talked for hours, and it was impossible because you cannot book a partial cruise, you have to book the full cruise only. And otherwise it would go to Haiti or Cuba, because flights off Jamaica are really expensive. I paid $110 from Florida to go to Jamaica, but then when you want to leave to Jamaica, you find nothing less than $150 already. And because I was trying to get a boat which failed, I left with the only option to book a flight and a week in advance. So what I got is this Trinidad flight for $333 US. This is probably the most expensive flight of my life for the distance, and you don't even get food on the plane. No food, no check-in luggage, and then you pay $330 for a flight which is like 2 hours, but it was more since I had to fly over Miami. It was the only choice at the time because it is vacation season, so Spirit, the cheap airline, was already booked out, and I only left with American Airlines. Anyway, that's all to the flights. The favorite part of Jamaica, which I enjoyed the most, was the Rastafari Village. Because Rastafari is what I've learned, a religion. And it was fascinating to me, interesting, that they are a type of Christian religion. They do believe in Jesus, they believe in the Bible, but they don't believe in Jesus, what you think. They believe that Jesus was a black man, probably Ethiopian. Yeah? And that's why they say Jesus, like we pronounce it, it's not correct. And back in the days, he pronounced his name as Jesus. And they also believe that there was a second Jesus, or descendant from the Son of God, whose name is Selassie. And this Selassie guy has birthday today, right now. And they're having a big celebration, but unfortunately I don't know where the Rastafari camp is here in Trinidad. I would love to go there. It's a 3-day celebration with music, praying, meditation, smoking cannabis. Will probably be very interesting to see. But this is not the only thing. They also believe in aliens, and they believe that the final judgment, that they're going to be UFOs coming from the sky and destroying mankind, unless you got dreadlocks. If you got dreadlocks, they will not kill you. That was so funny, you know, especially like these guys are stoned and they're telling you this stuff. I was listening to the priest who was chilling in the hang mod and wearing a marijuana hat, smoking weed, and he telling me all these stories, and they sound serious, they sound right, because everything they said, he backed it up with some argument from the Bible. Yeah, Josiah, paragraph 20, line 3. Jesus said, "I am a black man, please respect me," something like that. Yeah, and he gave me so many connotations, sites, yeah, from the Bible, which almost makes it believable. But I don't know, I didn't look it up. So yeah, Jesus is black and they're going to be aliens destroying the world. So he said the Bible is correct, but it's a little bit twisted, and they changed it. So that was really interesting to hear and see in this Rastafari camp. And activities like this are much cheaper. It was like $8 entrance, and I also saw hummingbirds for free, wild hummingbirds at the Rastafari camp. Yeah, you can go to the bird sanctuary and pay $30 or something to see hummingbirds in captivity. But you can see them for free in the village, in the Blue Mountains, which having such a cool vibe with all the flowers, orchids. It's really, really beautiful. Really highly recommended to go there. I also went to the coffee factory in the Blue Mountains, which wasn't that interesting in fact, because there was not much going on. You just saw the women picking bad beans from the good beans, and they don't show you how to really make the coffee. They show you the machines, but there was nothing going on the day. So it was pretty boring, but also only $8. You get a cup of coffee as well. So I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica because of the relaxed culture, the language, the sound of the language, the climate, the beaches, the nature, the birds. But I hate that they charge so much for a tourist attraction, and I hate that public transport is really a pain in the ass. Because it's like in Africa. If you went to Africa, they squeeze you into the taxi. Africa is the worst public transportation in the world because they're having the oldest cars and they squeeze you in these bush taxis until it's full. They're doing the same in Jamaica, just the taxis are not at all, but I still don't use the air conditioning. So you have to go with 3 obese women on the back seat. If you have a 2-hour ride like I had from Port Antonio to Ocho Rios, you really like have some stuff in the back from the seat, because those cars are not made to having 4 people on 3 seats. And it's not really comfortable. The same in Africa, you bump your head, the cars are small. Yeah, I really didn't like that. Also in the city, even for short rides, basically flat fee, it's $100 Jamaican. In other places it's a bit more sometimes. Yeah, that is a bit inconvenient, but there is a solution. They're having a big bus which is called Knutsford Express. So the Knutsford Express, it's really comfortable. Highly recommended it if you can afford it. But I'll try the local taxi as well, the route taxi. Also it's convenient because in Kingston you can use Google Maps. They show you which bus you can take, because also have big buses. And it was extremely reliable. They were always on time. They were even air conditioned. The thing is, you have to wait. They only come like twice an hour sometimes, certain routes once an hour. And those route taxis, they come every few minutes. You know, so it's much faster to take those. And the price is the same. So let's sum up my experience in Jamaica. I love the country, most of it just is expensive, and the transport. Everything else is great. Jamaicans supported Brazil during the World Cup, which was when I still don't know why. The people said because the color of the flag is similar to Jamaican. Also, Jamaica has really cheap marijuana. You pay about 40 US cents per gram, and highly good quality, which is way too strong, so I didn't smoke much. It's impossible to finish $5 within 3 weeks. I can. This is really good if you enjoy smoking. Jamaica is going to be your heaven, and the ocean is nice. Unfortunately, I didn't go snorkeling. I think they also don't have too many coral reefs. They might have more down here in Trinidad. They do have some. I saw some great footage of snorkeling in Jamaica. So it can be quite good. But they really just overcharge people for such activities, so you can't do anything. It's really not a budget destination. They do have hostels, so you can get cheaper accommodation, but just not that cheap. Yeah? You can find a room for less than $20. Here in Trinidad it's even more expensive, but it's hard to find something less than $20. But Jamaica, it's possible, although it is yeah, a bit more expensive. I also paid $20 for air conditioned room, because air conditioning is not common in Jamaica. That is a problem. But fish is very common. So if you love fish and wheat, go to Jamaica, enjoy your holiday, and thanks for watching. Enjoy traveling the world and stay tuned. Trinidad and Tobago is coming up soon. Yeah, let's see what this country has to offer.